That's feeder and come back around. It's a new leaf, Steve. I'm going to do properly now. I'm not going to be slovenly. I'm sitting up straight, you see.
Yep.
And it's going to be a proper DJing, because I think coming up soon, some great tracks, including a new one from Abs and an old one from Snow. Informer.
You know me, Daddy, Miss Tommy, Eka boom, a licky boom boom down.
I'm joking, of course. We've got some fantastic tracks. There's some
stuff,
great chat, and we've got Karl with
some
me,
great
Steve.
chat.
Steve, I'm Ricky Gervais on XFM 104.9.
There he is indeed, with him, Steve Merchant. And Karl Pilkington, of course. Say hello, Karl.
Alright.
Yeah, nice. And you say you're reading...
The beginning of a radio show is very much your wares, your shop window, laying out your stall. I don't think you can choose a better track than The Only Ones, Another Girl on the Planet.
I'd love to hear it.
Another planet.
One of my favourite intros, that.
Amazing.
Oh, that was dangerous, because I once heard on Capital Radio, this has got to be the greatest rock intro of all time, and they played Money for Nothing by Dire Straits.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I can just imagine them putting their head down.
I remember a friend of mine, when I was at school, he just bought a car, and he took me outside to show off the stereo system, Money for Nothing.
Really?
He just played that. I've never heard the song before. Just played that for its entire 4 or 5 minute duration.
It is a
to
good
show off
song
the sound system.
Yeah, it's a good song for showing off intros and sound systems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You said you were driving along earlier. You saw someone.
Yeah, it was one of those zooped up sort of sporty saloons.
Nice.
You know, the big like a Mondale or something, those big, and it was blaring out, and the bloke in it was sort of like, I could tell he was 24 but already going bald.
Yeah.
From like obviously his estate agency job, not to but he's made a bit of money, and he's got, and the stereo system was ridiculous. I mean, so loud, and it was going through Covent Garden. He was playing Snow in Informer.
Do people remember Informer by Snow? It was a big tune in my
I don't
youth.
know. It's great. Yeah, I always enjoy it.
Can I bring that in next week? Can we play Snow next week?
Well, you can play a tiny little bit.
Tiny little bit of Snow.
Yeah.
Informer. Do you remember Snow, Karl?
Yeah,
you loved it. Yeah, big tune.
Yeah, loved it. Oh,
Yeah,
did you?
big tune from the 90s.
Happy song, isn't it?
Rick, you were saying that you've turned over a new leaf.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that in all aspects of your life, or is that just in your broadcasting career? Because the reason I bring that up is because, do you want to describe what you were eating just now when we came in? Because you're a 40-year-old man. You've put on a little bit of weight, so presumably you're watching what you eat.
Well, no, but it sounded exotic. I went into a cafe and they didn't have a cheese sandwich.
Right.
And
can I describe what it looked like to me? Right, it looked to me like a big slab of cheese. You've just got them to just cut off a big block of cheese, like the size of a CD case. Or one of those double albums, right, of cheese, right? And just lightly melt that for me, so it drips over my hand and it gets really greasy in the bag. But just lay some strips of bacon on the top.
Yeah, but listen, you've embarrassed yourself.
Is that what it was?
No, it's a croque monsieur, so it's French.
It's a what?
A croque monsieur.
A croque monsieur.
Yeah, and so I thought,
I've never heard of a croque
You're having a,
monsieur.
see, you've embarrassed
Is
yourself.
that how it's pronounced, or is it croque monsieur?
Oh!
You didn't expect me to be bringing out the French. Tu aimes la musique pop? Oui, je t'aime la musique pop.
Le plume de ma tante.
Où est le syndicat d'initiative?
That means my aunt's pen.
So what was it then? It was a croque
Yeah,
monsieur,
and it was just too greasy. It was just too, and it was all wobbly. I like toast, like it to be crisp.
Sure.
It's the thing with like, what this is rubbish. Play Coldplay. Well, Steve, we've been away now for what, 12, 13, 14 weeks.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been looking forward to coming back. It's great to be back.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we've had some laughs, some tears in the interim, I imagine.
Yeah.
We've had a few ups and downs. Obviously, been working on the TV show, The Office, BAFTA winning, coming soon, BBC Two. But Rick, I just need to mention something quickly to you. When did I last see you? I saw you yesterday, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because we went up to Edinburgh yesterday. We were very nicely invited to go and talk at the Edinburgh International Television Festival. It was quite a big deal. We went up there and we were interviewed. And Ricky chose to go on the train because it takes like 4 hours. Is it 4.5 hours or something on the train?
Yeah.
But it's quite leisurely. It's quite sort of gentlemanly thing to do.
Yeah.
I opted to go for the plane option and fly up there.
More modern.
Exactly, and they bankrolled that, they paid for it all, and that was all not very nice. And as I recall, when I last saw you, we got a cab, didn't we? And you asked if you could get the cab to drop you off at the train station.
Yeah.
And then it took me on to the airport.
Yeah.
Did I... Now, that was before... the last time I saw you was before I got to the airport and missed my flight, wasn't it? Because I had to drop you off in the centre of town. Yeah, no, that was just before I had to pay £165 to upgrade to another ticket.
How did you not tell me that in the last hour?
£165, Ricky. I had to pay because we dropped you off at the train station. So, I mean, do you want to go halves on that, or what do you want? How do you want to deal with that? How do you want to sort that whole mess out?
Why were you late?
Why was I late? Because we dropped you off in the centre of Edinburgh, and you know how hard it is to get out of Edinburgh in rush hour traffic.
But it was only 3 minutes away, so you'd have missed it anyway.
No, because if we'd gone the other direction, it would have been 20 minutes. It took me like an hour to get to the airport. And I got there, and the plane had already left, and the cabbie was just laughing. He was saying, we're never going to make it. He goes, you were a religious man, you better start praying. I thought he was being facetious. He was absolutely right. £165.
But hold on, why didn't he tell you that when he picked up at £4:45?
It makes you wonder. So obviously, I'm a little bit annoyed, because you know I'm not a man who likes to sort of spend unnecessarily.
But wait, this is not my fault, because you were there when we made that decision. I didn't impose this on you. We both decided that might be. It's both our fault. I mean, it's no one's fault.
It's both our fault. That's fair? That's all I wanted to hear. It's both our fault. Therefore, it's both our financial obligation.
No.
£165. Just split that in half. Write a cheque, Rick. Write a cheque. It's fine. I trust you. You know.
Phone in. I think everyone. This is.
You're clearly
obvious.
irresponsible.
No, of course I'm not. If you share a cab and then one person's lucky enough to not be late and one person is unlucky enough, and that's what it is, bad luck. I don't think you share the obligation. It's a moral dilemma with this, isn't it?
But it's more than that, though, isn't it? Because let's be honest.
What?
Even if you had known that I was going to get there late, you'd have wanted me to hang around just so you weren't left around waiting for a train on the road. Because you get bored sitting there. So you'd have wanted me to at least got in that car.
I got there way too early. I actually got there I was there about 30 minutes
early.
early.
You made it fine then, that was...
Well, exactly, so I mean, I sacrificed me hanging around for half an hour so you could get it at 4:15. And the other thing is this, you were going to get it at 4:15 anyway.
Yeah, but I would, if I'd gone the other direction and not dropped you off in the centre, I would have been there in time.
Wow, would we?
Well,
is that true? Wow. Only God knows.
Well, and the cabbie. What I mentioned it to. So...
I'll tell you what I'll tell you what's better than 80 quid. I'll tell you what's better than, shall I?
Go on.
Music.
What, are you paying the whole 165?
Listen, look, I've brought in a little track here, Bruce Springsteen off the Tunnel Love album, and I know you're a Springsteen fan.
I'm a Springsteen fan. We should just qualify this, because a lot of people who listen to XFM obviously a bit edgy about Springsteen. They just think he's this old, kind of ludicrous 80s rocker, the bandana, you know, the flying the flag, which he never really was.
No, that was Bon Jovi.
Exactly,
don't confuse them.
Bon Jovi. But seriously, no, do you know what I mean? He did write some great music in the 70s, and he's just got a little bit kind of pompous in the 80s, but he still turned out some amazing tunes, one of which I imagine is this one, Rick.
This one's called Brilliant Disguise. Taking the blood off. I just remember something as well.
80 quid, Rick, 80 quid.
You know what, we finished the talk about sort of 3, and we had a couple of hours to kill before we got about that half 2, wasn't it? We had a couple of hours before we got the taxi, and we were eating in this cafe, and Steve said, how long's your train journey? I said, 4.5 hours. He went, so what was I get? I said, I'll get in about 10. He went, 6:30, me. And he's quite smug. And I went, yeah, I said, it is quite a long time. I just started to sort of relax and over. He went, yeah, I said, I think I'm come off better here. Because usually, you've organised all this stuff. He said, but I think you've chosen wrong here. I think you're right.
Yeah. Don't think those words were coming back to haunt me as I was handing over 165 notes. All I was thinking was, Ricky's going to be loving it.
In first class, drinking John Smith's and listening to Mercedes Walkman.
Yeah, but I handed over my initial card. She said 165 quid then. I went, fine. I handed over the card. It was a Switch card. She said, we don't take Switch.
Don't they?
I was thinking, what am I going to do then? I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to get the money from.
What did you do in the end then?
Well, luckily I had another card.
Oh, right.
And she managed to accept that one. But I don't know what I'd have done there. I genuinely don't know what I'd have done.
You didn't tell me you had another card.
Yeah, I got 2 cards.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that is depressing.
I was so depressed, because I just kept thinking about what I'd said to you. I've won this time, because normally I'm always, like, legging it for tubes, or I'm just, do you know, where I get stuck in the rain, or
and
something.
I've organised a driver or something. Because when you get me a job, I said, why, it's up to you. It's up to you. You know what I mean? Every man for themselves.
But this time it was 4.5 hours, and I was just 40 minutes on the plane. There'd have been no problem.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I'm so livid. Do you know, I got off because I was not very well either. I'm a bit ill at the moment. I got off the plane, and I thought, well, I could get a cab from the airport all the way back home, but, you know, I've already been stung for 165 quid. Got the tube. Took me forever.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie to you, it took me forever. I got in probably later than you did. Around the 11 o'clock mark.
You didn't really?
No, it wasn't quite as bad as that. But I was so depressed. I'm really depressed, Rick, so I was saying 50 quid is something
money,
right out.
I mean, Steve does not like to waste money, and, I mean, by that, I mean...
I don't like to spend money.
No. he had to go out and get a shirt for a photo shoot, quite an important photo shoot for, I think, the Times, right? Went out, he was buying a shirt, went out, planned it, came back $14.99 from Henny's.
Henny's, $14.99.
He knew where he was aiming, he aimed straight for Henny's, he knew where he can get a bargain. This is a man...
But it seems to me that at that kind of price, you can throw them away, you don't even need to wash them, really. You can throw them away using, like, Kleenex.
Have you ever thrown one away?
No. No. Just scrape off the stains and keep on wearing it, Rick.
Remember that time when we went to the casino for my birthday, and I was like 100 quid down, and some people were 100 quid up and 100 quid down. He, after the 3 hours we were there, was down £20, genuinely depressed.
I was almost crying.
Yeah.
Because I don't, well, it's because it's a mugs game gambling. It really is. Was that where because I went there, it was, when it was one time we went there, it was, our agent's birthday.
That was another time we went there, right? And he was up, and he got a win, he was 30 quid up. And so I said, it's your round then. And the round was more than 30 quid. And he couldn't believe it, and he sat down and he went, I couldn't believe it. He said, and I bought him a present, so I was already down.
Yeah. It turned out I was already down because I bought our agent a gift. I didn't see him buy it. And you know that thing where you're buying a round of drinks for people you don't even know? So it's like, what's the story there? Why am I suddenly bankrolling you drinks? It's like, I don't know you people. I'm not going to get any kind of... I'm not going to see you again to sort of reap the benefits at a later point.
Because he came in with his
most of you are married or engaged, so I'm not even going to pull from it. It was a waste of time. It was just pure generosity.
It was something like from Swingers, because he came into the cocktail bar holding 3 chips up worth £10 each and went, hello, like that.
Yeah, I was £30 up. That's a lot of money, Rick. Carl, you know that. 30 quid. You don't want to sniff at that.
Oh, what song should we play? We've got lots of songs in. It's hard.
Bit of Incubus.
I really like. I've always been a fan of it, even from early days. I thought his first song was really great and much maligned. People didn't like it because they were expecting the
Verve.
Yeah. Urban hymns and all that. That's great. On XFM 104.9.
Who are you?
Ricky Gervais, who are you?
Steve Merchant.
Who's that little round-headed fella over there?
Karl Pilkington.
Carl, I've had a lot of Carl today. He's a bit tired, aren't you?
Just a little bit.
What happened? You came back from Edinburgh today as well, didn't you, on the plane?
This morning.
Yeah.
Got an early flight.
Yeah.
It's just annoying me because there was like people on the plane fighting over where they wanted to sit.
Surely they've got designated seats.
Well, they have, but that wasn't good enough for them. They wanted to sit next to the friends and that. And it's like, well, you can't because you didn't check in together. So that's the way it is.
Yeah, done.
But the thing is, it's from Edinburgh, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand this sort of.
You can stand for that long, can't you?
Well, why do you have to sit next to the person anyway, to be honest? I mean, fair enough, if you're going on a long flight, someone to talk to, but for 40 minutes, it really doesn't matter.
I never want anyone to talk to. I don't want anyone sitting next to me to talk to me.
Why? What are they there for?
What? I don't mean people I go with. I mean if I'm travelling alone and I sit next to someone, I don't want to talk to me.
Yeah, but... I don't really know.
If I was travelling with you, I'd really not want you to talk to me.
Not if you're going to talk like this.
Yeah, this...
Oh, you sound like you're suicidal, mate. It was just a couple of people arguing. It's over, man.
Yeah.
The plane journey's finished. Why is it still stewing you up?
He paid 160 quid and he's not whinging. He doesn't care.
165 quid. Let's get it right. If we're going to bring it up, if we're going to mention it...
And it's like orthodox back to him. He said to me, Rick, it's only money, and money is just something you have in case you don't die tomorrow. He's got a great attitude towards money, Steve. It's like, easy come, easy go. So just take a leaf out of Steve, the I'm not spending that much merchant, and you'll have a happier life.
Sorry, I just need to defend myself for a minute. There are certain instances in life where, you see, you're giving me an attitude like that I'm tight. It's not tight.
No,
shut up. Let me defend myself. It's not that I'm tight with money. It's that I want to get value for money at all times.
Yeah.
Because, you probably got a lot of cash given to you, maybe it's pocket money when you were a kid. Every penny I've ever had is been money I've earned.
Yeah.
So frankly, I'm going to spend it wisely. Like, for instance, you might say you're in a party, or so you're at a party, maybe out in a bar with someone's birthday, you get talking to a girl, right? Maybe you buy her some drinks, right? You're chatting to her, and then you're chatting away for 2 hours, and then at the end of the evening she says, I've got to go meet my boyfriend now. Right, she's wasted my money and my time there. Yeah. That's 2 hours wasted and money wasted, right? Now, she should have told me straight away that she had a boyfriend, and I wouldn't have bothered with her. I'd have moved on, I'd have looked on to her.
What if she thought she was just having a chat with another human being?
Though, Rick, where I'm being deliberately deceived so people can extract money from me or interesting conversation. Yeah. She knew what I was after. It was obvious. The drooling mouth, you know, the beady eyes. And yet she was leading me on.
And she was a prostitute. And think how he felt about that. I mean, what a slap in the face.
Let's not try and cheapen it with that kind of cheap sexual innuendo, right? She occasionally slept with me for money.
It wasn't for money, it was for meals.
Yeah. No, but the point was, do you you know what I mean? It's just that sort of attitude generally in my life. Is like, don't waste my time, you know? Don't waste my time or my money. You're right, life is, the clock is ticking as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, and so just, if you've got a boyfriend and I come up and I'm chatting you up, just let me know and I'll move on. I won't bother you. Yes, please. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I feel they should definitely introduce some kind of badge system.
You see, the problem is that women without boyfriends will be wearing those badges now, and you won't be able to, you know what I mean? You won't be able to say, have you really got a boyfriend?
No, I just think there should be some kind of there should be an etiquette, there should be an understanding. Yeah. You know, because they know, they can see what I'm after. It's obvious.
Is it obvious,
yes,
is it?
I make it very clear.
You're not a subtle man.
No, I just come over and pant.
Do you still try and attract their attention by throwing small rocks at them?
Yeah.
As they walk down has that ever worked?
Occasionally.
Is it really?
You know, the desperate ones or homeless ones.
Oh, the homeless ones. He once, he said to me, he came in to work and he said, I gave a homeless girl £1, right? Because I fancied her. He said, is that wrong? Is that really bad?
I don't think it is, you see. I don't think it is, because it seems to me if she was an attractive homeless girl and she deserves some of my money.
I just imagine him slowing down. I imagine him like going past loads of tramps going, get out of it, get a job. And she goes, hello.
But I have to say, I did for a moment just pause and think to myself whether I could kind of scoop her up in my arms, take her back to my place, and kind of turn her life around like My Fair Lady.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And kind of teach her to speak properly and dress her up in smart clothes and take her out into sort of society.
Yeah. I think that's where your first mistake was. You said, listen, love, I'm up for it if I can hose you down. That was where you went wrong. Voted best album of all time, I think, in an enemy poll. I don't think it is their best album.
Strangers Here We Come.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Cracking.
Anyway, Karl, so people are arguing on the flight. How did you enjoy Edinburgh, by the way, anyway? Because I saw you up there briefly with you and Nick Frost, your new mates, Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. You know, he prefers them to us now.
I know, apparently, I could tell that from just talking to him, really.
It was the way he was sort of looking at them, everything, he was just smiling at Nick Frost. It's his new best chum. You love Nick Frost, don't you?
Would you have preferred it, if I went to Edinburgh and had to sit with some people that I really didn't like? Would you have been happier for me?
No, do you know, but
so I had a great time with Simon and Nick, and they're nice people.
But he kept going to, oi, Nick, tell Ricky that story. And Nick and Simon, all it was, and their ghost stories, he loves them because they believe in ghosts.
Oh.
It's not just
they're great blokes with a great sense of humour, just because they believe in ghosts. You go and tell him that, he goes, how do you explain that? I was going, well, I wasn't there. What was that one you told me and it was completely wrong? About the...
It was, it's years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Some
in olden days.
Oh, sure.
When ghosts roamed the earth.
Once upon a time, you mean?
Yeah.
Some doctor or something who was into, like, the way bodies work. They got their head cut off.
Who did? The doctor?
Yeah, he was doing a bit of an experiment.
And he cut his own head off?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was about, he said, when my head's in the basket, I'm gonna blink my eyes.
Right. Okay, sorry, hang on, let him finish.
And,
so the doctor has chopped his own head off, and he's told everyone, I'm gonna blink my eyes to
he's in the basket, and he goes like, right, I'm gonna blink my eyes about, as many times as I can. So quick, count them. And they count, and he got to like 15 before he died.
Now this is how Karl told me that. Till Nick Frost explained that, Karl told me, he said, a bloke, he had his head cut off, and when his head was in the basket, he went, count how many times I can blink. And I went, well, that's rubbish. He went, no. And Nick went, well, no, he actually said, when my head's in the basket. He went, and Karl went, all right. I said, Karl, do you know the subtle difference? Do you see the subtle difference?
I have to say, though, guys, I still don't really understand what went on there. You've both lost me.
The story is that a bloke who'd been found doing,
You mean that Karl just explained it and that was a clear version? Because I still don't know what you're talking about, Karl.
Well, this bloke had his head cut off at experiments against God. He was a doctor in the, in olden times. Yeah. And when they cut his head off...
Why did they cut his head off?
Because it was...
he was executed.
Crimes against... Exactly, he was executed, yeah. And, he said to his assistant, when my head's in the basket, I'm gonna blink, count how many times I blink and write it down as an experiment, right? Karl told it to me, like, his head was cut off and he went in the basket, and when his head was in the basket, he looked up and said, count how many times I blink. Yeah. I love that. I love the difference in that story.
Yeah.
Both rubbish, but, one's possible and one isn't.
You believe anything that you're told, except when we tell you the truth.
Right, here's one.
Christ.
Ghosts and that we got talking about.
Sure.
And Nick said, right, he said, you'll like this one. He said, my auntie was having loads of problems.
Why are you whispering? It's not illegal to talk about ghosts on the radio.
No, but
he's hearing this.
So the auntie's in the house and that, and furniture's moving about all the time.
Oh, God.
And they were like, no,
Steve, you told me this one. This is such rubbish, mate.
No, come on, let's listen.
I'm gonna leave it to you. I'm gonna sit back and enjoy it. I'm just gonna watch your face, Steve.
Right.
Sorry, so I missed the beginning there, Carl. There's an auntie in the house.
Basically, Nick's auntie.
Right.
In the house, things moving around all the time. And it was just annoying every time she tidied up. It was like...
It was just annoying.
Making a mess.
It was one part annoying to two parts scary.
Yeah.
So... stuff was moving around all the time, and they said, right,
we need an housekeeper.
Rather than having the house a mess, until we sort this out.
Stop it! I've got the vicar coming round. Stop moving stuff around.
Oh, yeah, go on.
They said
That shouldn't be in the pants drawer.
let's put all the furniture in one room, right? So just have one room that's a mess, and have all the others empty.
Because I love the poltergeist can't really... it can move wardrobes around, but it can't open a door to put it in another room.
Yeah.
Poltergeist going, I'm just making this room messy. I wish someone would open the door so I could... Go on.
Yeah, but... So all this stuff's in this room.
So they moved all their furniture into one room?
They put, like, the drawers in there and everything, and it was really uncomfortable, because they were all, like, on top of each other.
They sat in the room with all the stuff?
Yeah, they had to, because that's where the three-piece suite was.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Right?
All right.
Oh, God.
So they sat there, like, all crumpled up and that, but nothing can move because it's so tight. I think things were trying to move, but everything was so tight. It's
They
just
foxed that poltergeist.
So anyway, one night they sat there, like, sort of a bit awkward watching the telly and that, and they hear some banging in the next room. So she goes, oh God, what's that?
Oh, he hadn't moved in, had he, the ghost?
So
to some of the empty rooms.
So there's this
He's moved some friends and family in.
There's this banging about going on. She gets up, right?
Yeah.
And what it is, they had the baby in the next room because there wasn't much room for the cot.
Right, so they left the baby with the ghost.
So they go into the room where the baby is, and the banging.
Yeah.
Is like, do you know those plastic balls you get that you can chuck around the room and, like, they go mental?
Right.
The ones that you chuck once and they keep bouncing for ages.
Yeah.
That was bouncing around the room.
Wow, what, the baby had thrown it?
Hitting all the walls, and the baby was there, stood in the cot, sort of laughing.
Right.
And looking at the ball, and wherever it looked, the ball went.
Yeah.
And then she said, stop doing that.
Yeah.
And the ball just stopped.
Did it?
And it rolled a bit and stopped.
Right. So the baby had thrown the ball and it was watching it as it bounced around the room?
It wasn't throwing it was in control of it.
No, the point is, Steve, the baby has been doing it. It's been the baby all along.
The baby had been messing with the furniture. It was
So
the baby
it's a
that had
super
the power. Yeah, it's the baby that had the power.
Special baby.
It's a baby that had the power. It's
What
a baby that had the power.
What's
the power
the power?
of telekinesis.
Right.
They were then trying to convince me that telekinesis was not like all the other stuff that I didn't believe in, but that was a science.
Right.
Telekinesis was possible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like ghosts and demons and all that sort of. Telekinesis is different.
Yeah,
that's science.
But Nick's auntie saw it, and
I love the fact that you're telling me that someone else's auntie saw it. So I should be satisfied with that.
Yeah.
I should be satisfied with that. I mean,
no.
So does she still live in one room with all her possessions?
No, I think
the baby grew out of it. Apparently,
it grew
the
up.
baby grew out of it.
So it doesn't use its telekinesis powers anymore?
Well, no, it's like in Carrie, innit? She was upset for a bit, and then she got over it.
Okay, I'm just going to say one thing, Carl. That was a film. Do you want to play a record or? No, can I just tell you a story that Carl told me a couple of weeks ago?
Is this another ghost story? Another
yeah,
spooky
it is,
story?
yeah. I called him out. I was, what are you doing? He said, I've just been reading ghost stories again. He said, you don't believe in them, but how do you explain this? Right, I went, go on. He said, I'll tell you as he told me it. He went, bloke, right, just sitting at home, doing, watching telly with his cat. And, the phone rings, and it's a bloke going, is that fire, in your oven okay now? 'Cause your wife called. And Carl went, well, 1, there was no fire in the oven. 2, he wasn't married. I went, right. Go on, he went, well. Then, right, there was a knock at the door and there was 2 sort of people in sort of white coats and they came and said, we've come about that fire. Your wife called us. He went, 1, there isn't a fire in my oven, and 2, I'm not even married. Right, and he said they saw the cat and they looked at the cat. It looks a bit weird at the cat. The cat came out. Nothing. And he said, and then he went back and sat down. Phone rings and they said, did they sort out the fire in the oven that your wife told us about?
Oh.
He went, 1, there is no fire in my oven. 2, I haven't got a wife. And Carl went, what do you think of that? I went, that's not it. He went, yeah, I went...
That's the end of the story.
What? He went, well, how'd you explain that? I went, explain what? I thought he was going to say, a year later he got married, but she died in an oven fire. Right? I thought it was going to be that. And I went,
that's people winding him up.
Yeah, or someone did report a fire oven, and their name was Johnson, and they looked up Johnson, they got the wrong thing, it was the gas board, and they sent around to the wrong person, right? You know, he went, yeah. I said, I explained it to him, he went, yeah. Why do they look at the cat funny?
Oh, man alive, Carl. This is really weird, right? I was in my house once, right, and the doorbell rang.
Yeah.
Right, I opened the door, there was no one there.
Yeah.
Right? And then I looked across the street, right, and there were some kids running away.
Yeah.
Now, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
There was another time, right, where, like, I opened the door and there was a bloke goes, you've ordered pizza. I went, I haven't ordered pizza. And I heard my mate upstairs giggling and putting the phone down.
Yeah. How do you explain that? Carl, seriously, why did you tell me that story? What did you think it was weird about that?
The fact that it was 3 different people.
Is this all the information? Is that the entire story?
It was 3 different people.
Did you fall
hassling
asleep
him
and not read the
about
end?
A fire that didn't happen, about a wife that didn't exist, and a cat that didn't look happy.
Oh, I'm gonna have a heart attack, Carl. What? I mean, why did they look at the cat funny?
Because cats don't like spirits, do they?
What? And the other blokes were ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So these are kind of beetle about type ghosts. These are ghosts who walk the earth as the undead, just wind people up slightly.
That's lovely. That is lovely.
Seriously,
and a cat that did not look happy.
But seriously, why would ghosts wander around just like winding people up?
Oh,
Maybe something did happen there years ago. Some fire. Some woman might have died in a house of a fire or something.
Yeah.
And it sort of all happened again.
Yeah, it's certainly a mystery.
Well, if you don't
it's a mystery. I mean, I can't.
What's this book you were reading? You were reading a book, which is interesting enough.
It was the Tea and Times.
Oh, Carl.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say.
Well, I'll tell you this, Carl. Here's a track that will spook you right out. This is Warren Zevon from what was it, like about 1979, early 80s?
Oh, great track.
Werewolves of London. Play this, Carl. But don't be scared. From 1978, Carl, Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon. Are you a fan of that?
It's alright,
Great track, isn't it?
Fans of Warren Zevon, maybe if you know he's got a new album out as we speak. Although, if you're a fan, you probably know that already.
Yeah.
If you aren't a
People
fan,
who hate him would be interested in knowing that he's got a new album out.
Yeah.
Do you believe in, I think
Werewolves.
lycanthropy? Is it not called?
What's that, sorry?
Lycanthropy.
What's lycanthropy?
Isn't that werewolfism?
Really?
Isn't it? Do you believe in that, Carl?
They've found stuff, haven't they? They've found kids walking about who are all hairy because they've sort of grew up with wolves and that.
Yeah.
So
No, you see, 2 things there. You cannot take on acquired characteristics genetically. So, if you grew up with wolves, it wouldn't suddenly make you hairy.
There's been pictures, there's been stories on it, and I reckon most people a lot of people have seen the stories. It's a popular thing.
You mean the kids that are born hairy?
No, there's kids who've been born hairy, right?
Yeah, that's it.
No, but listen, and they walk around on all 4s, and they drink milk from a saucer.
Steve, this is
No, remember that time with the maggot in the head? And getting out with bacon, and you were like laughing, and then people called up and said, yeah, I've seen that, I've read about that.
Yeah,
this is the same thing.
Have you seen an XFM listener up close? Have you ever looked?
They drink milk from a saucer.
Yeah, they've got to be kept on leads. People who listen to this show.
There's no point me telling you about stuff.
There is. It's comedy gold.
When you were out of school, did you keep arguing with the teacher saying you're talking rubbish there?
Teachers didn't teach us about werewolf boys and ghosts. They taught us maths. God, right. Tell the story about the manhole cover.
Right, in the same magazine as the one with the cat and the fire and that.
Don't tell me that story again, it gives me the shivers.
Yeah, a cat that's got a weird expression on his face is against God.
Anyway, this isn't a scary story, this was just like physics.
Yeah.
It was going on about the nuclear bomb and how powerful it is. And they put a manhole cover on top of one.
Okay.
Blew it up.
Yeah.
Never saw the manhole cover again.
Man alive, Carl. Unexplained.
What's going on there? Something weird is happening there. Oh.
If anyone has ever seen that manual cover, please get in touch. We'd love to know where it is.
Oh, that's fantastic. What sort of experiment is that? I imagine all these scientists on multi-billion-pound research budgets, they're going, we test everything. What would we do to manual cover? Don't know.
That's like letting a couple of students
yeah, exactly,
have control of a nuclear
Do you reckon it can send a traffic cone into orbit? Go on then, put it on there. I love that. Imagine that. What value is that? I might tell you what we could do. We could put the manhole cover on it and aim it, and then blow the bomb up, and the manhole cover would have someone's eye out. Fire it. See if you can fire manhole covers off the nuclear bomb. I love it. Try bangers to a bomb. See if it's louder. Oh God.
Okay, listen, Carl. Play another track, and then afterwards, can we probe your views on the week's news?
If you want.
We'll do a bit of a white van Carl session.
Today is the greatest because we're back.
That's true enough.
All right.
I hope people, Rick, were listening to that loud in this lovely summer's day.
Or I mean, no, not too loud.
Well,
don't annoy people. White van. Carl.
Yeah, white van Carl. I mean, for those that don't know, we do this.
We ask Carl the questions that the Sun asked someone else.
That's right. The Sun every day asks some, average Joe his views on the week's big stories. Carl, let me ask you now. What do you make of Prince Harry smoking openly at a polo club? Are you aware of this story?
No. Was it? Go on.
Prince Harry, you know that he's one of the royals.
Yeah.
And he was seen smoking openly, a fag, a cigarette, a polo.
Third in line to the throne.
Something like that, yeah.
Imagine that. Someone smoking a cigarette is third in line to the throne.
A cigarette, Carl.
Is it a non-smoking polo club?
Do you know, I don't know, but if it were, would that make things even worse for you?
Well,
no, seriously, what do you make of it? This is, the whole, the furore is he's a role model, he's a royal, should he be seen puffing away in a public place?
I don't think it matters, does it?
Not a concern for you?
How old is he? Is he old enough to smoke?
I think he probably is, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, I think the trouble with this role model thing, with anything that's legal, it should either be illegal or not.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can impose things like that, because you could say that it is bad for you, and it is bad to start smoking, and it really is bad for you, it causes cancer and everything.
But everyone knows that, don't they?
Well, yeah, but you should either make it illegal or shut up about it. Sorry, this is Carl you're asking, isn't it?
I am indeed.
Sorry,
So we can throw these questions your way as well, if you fancy.
Sorry, yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
But Carl, what are your views generally? I mean, it's obviously cigarettes are perfectly legal and so on, but what about stronger narcotics? Because I know you're very scared of drugs and stuff, aren't you?
I'm not a fan.
No, what's your concern? What's your worry?
Just that you might get into them. It's like you might have them and go, oh, this is alright.
Exactly, Carl. Exactly.
Although I was talking to you about it earlier, and you weren't very sympathetic about a lot of young people who have perhaps gone to crack or smack. Didn't you describe it as their own fault?
Sometimes it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I could have turned to it where I grew up, but I said, well, don't want to do that, it's not good for you. Sure. And I avoided it.
You turned to ghosts.
So you've got no sympathy for anyone who's a drug addict? It's their own fault, is your...
It depends, doesn't it?
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You can be an addict if, I don't know, something... I'm trying to think of a nice way that you might...
Well, most people start on stuff like that because something really traumatic's happened to them. Very few people go out for a laugh one night and go, let's all try it.
Sure.
So, but... Yeah,
just say no, I suppose, is the
just say no, listen to the cast of Grange Hill.
Now, this will scare you. Now, Carl, you will be a little bit unnerved about this. Have you seen the film Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
You know what happened there? Well, according to the Sun here, it says scientists are planning to clone mammoths for a theme park. Look at his face, look at that, he looks like a dog caught in the headlights of a car, he's terrified.
I love Carl.
He's sprung to attention
Carl.
there.
Is that the best news you could have?
Man moths.
Right,
yeah, man moths.
I love the fact that that's why he was so excited that they've bred a man moth. What is this? Yeah, it's a human being that hides in your wardrobe and eats the entire jacket in a day.
Yeah.
What do you mean, man moths? Mammoths. Mammoth, the big hairy cow from the Ice Age. I mean, elephant.
You're not so excited about that, then? You can take or leave bringing back mammoths to life, but a man moth...
A man moth is a different matter. Oh. If we'd have never brought that up, he'd have gone and told someone now, they've bred an half man, half moth.
That's
how things start.
This is what we mean when you hear these ghost stories.
Are you slightly deaf? Is that it? When you hear these stories, you're slightly deaf, and his head was in the basket, and he went, count how many times I blink. Is it...
Carl, is English your first language? Are you actually foreign? Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Should we speak
when we say
slower?
foreign, we mean not of this planet.
Yeah. Should we speak slower? Would that be a help to you?
No, go on. Next
What do you
one.
make of
Do
that?
you think that's good? Do you think that's good to bring back mammoths?
Prehistoric animals.
These giant elephants.
They're slow, aren't they? It's not as if they're going to like get out and run fast and they can't capture them.
They'd probably be a
Like
fence, to be
elephants,
honest,
aren't
Carl. They'd probably be a fence.
they? No, but I'm saying, but you're asking it as if like, oh, it could all go wrong, but it couldn't, could it?
Well,
Really?
but the point was about Jurassic Park is they thought it wouldn't go wrong, and they thought they had it all under
Yeah, but
control.
that was
and
Have you learned
dinosaurs.
nothing from Jurassic Park, Carl?
Dinosaurs would say, oh, think about it before you do it. But with a airy elephant, it's not going to.
Not a concern for you. Would you go along to see him? Would you be interested in that?
If it was in the area.
He's the best. He's great, isn't he? I'd love a queue,
Nothing
right?
impresses
No,
him.
but what I'd like to do is Carl sitting like Yoda in a little cave, and I'd just like to see people like Tony Blair and Stephen Hawkins in a queue, and they go and say, "Carl, got a bit of a problem."
And thinking of cloning a man and a moth. Problem? Not an issue. No, if I'm in the area, I might cruise around and have a look at it. Otherwise, just don't send it near my clothes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it's just for a second. As the words "man moth" came into your head, how excited were you? I mean, were you both terrified and excited? For the moment when you thought that they'd cloned a man and a moth.
I pictured
What kind of face did he have? Did he have the moth's head, or was it a man's head?
just a little man head.
Right. What was his face? What did it look like?
He just was like a bit shocked.
Perplexed. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it was like he'd been grafted onto the body of a moth without his consent.
And when he was asleep,
Yeah, he'd woken up.
he just went in to have a goiter removed, and they said, "We've
He
replaced
woke
your
up with
goiter with the body of a giant moth."
Yeah.
Is that all right, Mr. Jenkins?
So he had the head of a little. Was it a little boy or a man?
little man,
Right. Okay.
and he's just bumping into a lamp.
Just running into a.
If you went into hospital and they'd done something, what's the worst thing they could do, right? What would you rather have done, right? You wake up and you've got lobster claws for hands.
Right.
You wake up and you've got duck's feet. Or you wake up and you've got one horn coming out of your head.
The worst thing,
Yeah.
probably the horn coming out of my head.
Why?
Get in the way.
That'd be useful, wouldn't it, in fights and stuff? And for like parties, people would play
Well, I suppose
quoits.
the lobster claws would also be quite handy there.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's great to be
I'm
back.
just thinking about that money, Rick, to be honest.
I
It's
know,
still playing on my mind.
I know, yeah.
Could we maybe get like a sort of telethon type thing going, or a little charity thing, just sort of help me pay?
You can't really ask people to send you money. It's
Really?
technically begging.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, is
Unless
there
you're
any
are you a registered charity?
I suppose not. Not really.
We could probably get you status.
Yeah. But could I promise? I mean, could I pretend to give them something in return? I mean, am I allowed to sell things on the radio?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so-
Although you probably get in trouble with the authority if you're using it to sort of like to your own.
yeah.
Not like everyone else doesn't.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Free lunches and
Yeah.
sponsorship and God knows what.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably the people that work here, small fry, the scum.
Exactly, the nobodies, yeah.
Yeah.
But 165 quid is it's quite a lot of money, so I mean, if you want to contribute anything, Rick, as I said before, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, no, I would if I felt any responsibility.
Right. Yeah,
or cared.
sure.
But yeah, I got there too early, which is annoying. What we should have done really was get you your plane and come back, because I'd have had time.
Do you know, I was going to mention it at the time, but I didn't want to, because I knew the answer would be no. So I was off.
Oh, Carl. Oh, I've had a great time. I've forgotten how good it was just to have a normal just to have a conversation with you. Have you been looking forward to this? He's really down today, isn't he?
He's down, man, isn't he?
Just a bit tired.
But it's interesting, because I said to him, did you enjoy Edinburgh? He spent the week up in Edinburgh,
Yeah.
obviously, and he said, yeah, well, he loved it up there. He's been partying every night, and he actually enjoyed it. And I've never met him when he's actually enjoyed anything before. He's never enjoyed anything, as far as I know. And I'm depressed that we weren't involved.
His paper round.
He loved the paper round, and this is the first time.
He was talking to me about that the other day as well. I said, that's what he really thinks that paper round he had when he was 14 was the best job he'd ever had.
Yeah,
He still thinks it's the best job because he said he was his own boss. Well, no, you weren't.
Yeah.
He went, well, I'll get on my bike and think. And he said, I bet if I phoned those people who I delivered the papers to, they'd say it was the best delivery they've ever had. He said, in fact, I bet a lot of them have chucked in delivery because it went downhill. This is all, he's thinking this as he went along.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Imagine phoning someone up and saying, you don't remember me, but I used to deliver your paper 10 years ago. Was it the best delivery service you've ever had?
No, but if I said I delivered it 10 years ago, you used to, if you got up at like 6 in the morning, it was there for you.
Yeah.
There's no other paper boy who could guarantee that they'd have that paper when they got
Carl,
out
if
of
you
bed.
could earn enough money, would you do a paper round again? If that was your job, but you were being paid enough to make a living from it, is that something you think about? Do you think you'd enjoy it as much nowadays?
Yeah, I reckon I would, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, listen to some music.
Sure.
£1,000 a week, would you do the best?
Yeah.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Is there anyone out there who is willing to test that? Is there anyone who's willing to pay Carl, right,
grand?
Some of them a grand,
Yeah.
to take a week off work and deliver papers just for that week?
All day though, it's all day.
No. I'll
What?
get up and the customers will have their paper.
Yeah, but can I tell you what
6 o'clock in
street
the
it
morning.
is?
No, because
No, it's the M25.
see,
You are being paid £1,000.
Yeah,
Carl. They may
£1,000.
ask for a
You
little
got to
bit more.
deliver to the M25. I'll tell you what. Let's take the mood down a little bit and play one of the most beautiful songs I've been looking forward to getting back on the road. Just play this, to be honest. It's Jimmy Webb's version of Galveston. I think. I think the papers would be saying, Steve.
Yes.
Carl. I've met Carl a couple of times in our sabbatical, and he said to me once. He said, oysters. So I said, have you ever tried oysters? I don't like them. And I went, I said, it's just a thing about swallowing them whole, you know. He went, well, the reason you have to do that is just they're fatally poisonous. And if you bite into them, they kill you. And I went, well, of course they don't. He went, yeah. I went, well, of course they wouldn't. What if you chewed on it? He said, no. I said, well, so you swallow them whole and they're not poisonous. He went, yeah, see. He said, when you swallow heroin in a Johnny, he says, that doesn't kill you, does it? That was it.
Oh.
And then, about a week later, he went, I was wrong about them. Yeah, I went, well, he said, yeah. And what did you say?
it's if you eat them and then you have some whiskey.
They turn deadly when whiskey comes into contact with them.
Yeah, when they've had a drink.
They get a bit rowdy in your stomach. They start fighting. They can cause rupture.
So what are you saying now? Are you saying you don't believe that?
Am I saying what?
Are you saying you don't believe
Look,
that?
he thinks he's got us here. He thinks he's got us here. Yeah, I don't believe that if you eat an oyster, then drink some whiskey, you die.
You might not die straight away, but you won't feel.
Eventually, 50 years' time.
If you've got to keep on drinking whiskey.
Yeah,
a bottle a day.
50 or 60 years later, he was dead. Yeah. Oyster and a bottle of whiskey a day. Oh, then out of nowhere, 40 years later.
Where does this information come from, Carl?
If some doctor called up now,
Yeah.
and put you right, would you believe him?
If it wasn't Dr. Fox, yeah.
What about the airy lads growing up with the werewolves and that?
They didn't grow up with werewolves.
Grow up with werewolves.
You've confused about three
just
different
a genetic
stories,
mutation where they were born with very, very hirsute.
There were a couple of kids, yes.
They didn't grow up with wolves, and you can't kill them with a silver bullet. I mean, you're confusing two things.
There were some kids who were very, very hairy, yes.
Yeah.
They're in folklore. There were some kids who grew up with wolves, yes. I don't think the two are connected.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as werewolves, Carl.
You
Believe me, I saw a documentary on it on the History Channel. You'd have loved it.
You grew up with a
history of
magpie.
werewolves.
You know, you don't flap around, do you, and steal people's jewellery?
What was the thing you told me about snails?
Have you ever had any post that looks like it's been opened?
Occasionally, yeah.
Right. Well, what it is, it's not your postman having a
sneaky look.
Problem is,
Right.
slugs.
The problem's slugs.
Slugs at night, they like nipping about and that, and it gets a bit cold. And in London, like in the country, they go into the grass, don't they?
Right.
But in London, it's like, oh, what can we do? And they go in letterboxes.
Slugs go in letterboxes.
Get in letterboxes, it's nice and warm in there, dry and what have you. And
These are homeless slugs, aren't they? The ones that have lost their shell.
when they're in there, they only found out that they love glue. They've been eating the glue off the stamps.
Right.
And people have been getting charged for post because it hasn't had stamps on it. It's like, well, they put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
It's like slugs have been eating it.
Sure.
And they also eat the glue that's on the actual envelope shutter. And it's a real popular problem, this, that letters are being lost and opened and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Slugs.
Are slugs like stealing postal orders and things and cashing them in and stuff?
Yeah, again, you know, if there's a doctor, if there's a postman.
Yeah.
Well, with us, two expert witnesses, a doctor and a postman. So postage is a real problem.
When we see a slug's trail, or a snail's trail.
It's glue.
That's the glue they've stolen, is it? That's a little.
I'm not going to say yes to that because I'm not sure.
But we could follow that trail and find them, and they'd have a big sort of
big pile of letters.
our stamps and
there they are.
like birthday cards from our aunts and stuff.
but £2 notes.
Yeah.
XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais. Who are you?
My name's Steve Merchant. Good to see you.
Thanks. With us, the producer in the studio is Karl Pilkington, and he'll be doing the buttons.
Yeah, you made a good effort there. But once again,
got bored.
Words are your enemy, Rick, and they defeated you once again. Just run out of steam with the sentences.
Every week I think, well, I'm really going to make an effort now. I've chosen some records.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. That's as far as it goes, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe you should write out what you're going to say at the top of the show. Write that out. Get a nice big crayon.
I like to keep a little bit of,
a little bit of something, a little bit of spark, a little bit of liveliness to it. Sure. How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to.
It's great to be out of the house again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just I was going to say, because we've been doing this for a long time now with a little break. But XFM are bringing new listeners all the time. I've heard 4 or 5 a week.
Really?
Yeah. New listeners tune in to XFM 104.9.
Radio 1, beware.
Yeah. Yeah. And we might take it for granted the people that know who we are, know who you are, know who Karl is.
Sure.
Now, if you're a regular, then you know exactly who we are. But for those of you who don't, I'm Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais, a BAFTA award-winning actor and writer.
Steve Merchant, all those.
A friend of yours.
Yeah. And this is the important thing. Karl Pilkington.
Absolutely.
Our producer. I say producer, he was the bloke who was lumbered with a job. When I said, listen, I used to run the desk in the old days when I was like, I used to press the buttons and run the desk and everything. And now I said, listen, I've been on the telly. I do not press my own buttons. And Karl said, well, I don't really work weekends. And they went, well, you do if you want to keep your job.
Absolutely.
And we were lumbered with him. And then we discovered that he's not just a little dork, a little manky sort of idiot.
Sure.
He's got a nice shirt. He's got, you know what I mean? He's got something else.
Absolutely. He brings another dimension, yeah.
Yeah, and he started having a little chat, and we discovered that he had quite a lot to say.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and I think I was wondering maybe we should maybe play another tune, but after that, I just think we should re-familiarise our radio audience with Karl, and any new listeners, just somehow going to let them get to know the real Karl again.
Well, if you are new, you'll find that we like some old songs, some new songs, some chitter-chat. We get serious sometimes, there's some tears and some laughter. Yeah. We kicked off with Oasis' new one, Little by Little. We're going to go back in time now to Iggy Pop. And
Merchant here as well.
Yeah, little Karl Pilkington. Well, to reintroduce or introduce people for the first time to Karl, I think we should have a...
Yeah, maybe sort of a kind of a quick Q&A, Karl, and we don't need sort of lengthy answers from you. We don't need lots of detail. It can be just a couple of sentences.
Just to get a flavour of who you are.
Yeah, so firstly, name obviously Karl Pilkington. Age, Karl?
I'll be 30 next month.
Really?
This month? No, next. Where are we?
I don't think we need to ask any more questions.
I think we've done it.
That's it.
I think we've
Welcome
done it
to the world of Karl Pilkington.
I think. I thought it would take 3 or 4
I
questions
thought it was going to be at least,
to really explain
that was the first question. Absolutely
God.
Incredible. But we can't really leave it there because we haven't got enough else to do to fill up the 2 hours. So let's pursue this line of inquiry.
Yeah.
Age? What was the age, Karl? In a couple of months.
When were you born?
I'll be 72.
Right. What month? What day?
I'm on the cusp.
You're on the cusp of a day.
Well, 23rd of September.
Okay.
72.
So anyway. Okay, right, good.
And you were talking there about, obviously your star sign where you're on the cusp.
Yeah.
You believe in that, do you?
No.
You don't believe in star signs?
No, not really.
But you do believe in ghosts, I understand.
No, because
paranormal.
But the star sign thing, you've got how many different star signs are they?
12, innit?
Right, and then you've got, like, loads of people.
Yeah. You do the math.
So they're saying that, there's only 12 different sorts of people in the world.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It's made up. It's made up nonsense. It's non-science.
It's pseudoscience.
It's hairy man and dyed hair woman science.
Yes.
Isn't it?
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to you, Karl. Where were you born?
In Manchester.
Okay. What GCSE results did you get?
I got was that an E? I got an E.
You got an E in history. And how did you find out that
information?
You found out.
because you thought you couldn't remember what you got, you didn't turn up, and you thought you'd done about 3, one of which wasn't history, and actually...
I knew I did art.
Yeah, you didn't. I'm telling you didn't, because we checked. You did 1. You turned up for history, you did history, you got an E in
I
history.
definitely did art. I made a little clay man.
Yeah, you got to register for O-levels. You don't just do it and then phone up and say, how was that?
Yeah.
And they go,
I'm sending you a clay man. See what you think. Send me a grade.
Yeah, there's forms to fill out and things like that, Carl.
Anyway,
go on.
Who was your closest childhood friend?
Closest? At what age?
Well, when you were young, when you were a
I
kid.
remember this. It's a fella. Is it someone making, isn't it?
Well, he wasn't really a close mate. Darren Buckley was me.
Darren Buckley?
Yeah.
He was my
Tell us
close
briefly
mate.
about Darren. I've forgotten about Darren.
He's the one who, all the girls liked him. He had permed hair. He used to have his hair like a footballer.
Sure. Were you jealous of him?
His dad was a copper.
Did you hang around with Darren, like, in the hope of getting maybe his kind of cast-offs?
Nah. It's weird with me, and I wasn't that bothered about having loads of mates and that. I had lots of mates, but I could do without them.
You had a magpie, didn't you?
I was happy playing with my magpie.
Yeah, what happened to him?
It flew away.
Yeah.
But I wasn't bothered, because it was giving me grief towards the end, wasn't it? It was popping me grifter tyres and that.
Yeah, sure.
Flying down, pecking me head.
Sure. Now, you went to school with a number of different interesting people, some of whom
2
were
of which,
freaks.
I understand, had big heads and webbed toes.
Is that right?
Yet they were not related to each other, and they weren't friends with each other. Why weren't they friends with each other?
Because that'd be obvious.
Did they wear shoes, or did they walk around in their webbed?
Were they good at
feet?
swimming? Were they good at swimming?
I don't know. I don't think they ever went swimming.
Did they ever talk? Did they ever look over at each other and think,
Yeah, we should hang out more.
I told you something in the week as well. There was another lad at school had a pigeon chest.
He had a what?
can we come back to this?
He had a pigeon
I think we
chest.
should play a record, Carl, because I think we've hooked them now.
Yeah.
I think
There's no one switching off now, Rick.
No, play a record when it was playing. You know, I don't want to diss it, but you know, it's not the best one. I mean, that's
Absolutely not.
fact.
Sure.
You know, Carl won't like the video though. That little milk carton.
Yeah.
Bit sad. It's tragic, isn't it? He went in there. This is all to himself. I'm not even joining in. And then he went, yeah, but it's all right at the end. He goes to heaven. He finds a little girl milk carton. Just lives out a little thing, and is that like you on your paper round, that little milk carton, walking around like that? I imagine you. Oh, people don't know, but if you just tuned in, Carl had a paper round,
It's his favourite job ever.
and he maintains it's the best job he's ever had. Isn't it, Carl?
Wait,
Go on.
I don't know what's so weird about that.
It's a paper round.
Yeah, but look forget
It's not
all
the most
that.
fulfilling of jobs.
Look at the way it works, right? You get it out of the way at the start of the day, so you got the rest of the day to yourself.
It's the same as signing on.
You're your own boss. You know.
Same as signing on.
Well, you're not your own boss. The guy
Yeah.
at the news agency, your boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's great.
You've proven me wrong there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Nah. Yeah. Nah, not really. Would that stand up in court? Well, you were found with the dagger. Nah.
Was I?
when are we playing the new game?
Oh, Carl's got a new game. Carl's very excited. Oh, just
we were talking about something before we played
Yeah,
the
well,
record.
the freaks used to go. You had people with big heads, 2 web feet, didn't hang around each other. That would be too obvious. You had a fella with a pigeon chest.
Yeah, what's the story with the pigeon chest?
Don't know how it happened. It was like it looked like somebody had sort of hit him on the back with a big hammer, and it had come out at the front.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it since.
Could that have been the answer?
What? Why he had it?
Why had it? Possibly, I suppose, in your neck of the woods.
Don't know. Never asked him.
It's just come back to haunt you, has it, the pigeon chest?
No, it's just that you know, when you mentioned about kids at school, I forgot all about him. You're talking about the kids with the web feet and the big heads,
Yeah.
and I forgot about the little old
The pigeon chest.
pigeon
lad.
boy.
Yeah, pigeon.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm a big fan of that TV show. It's on digital TV. A lot of people won't have it, but Inside the Actor's Studio with James
Yeah.
Lipton.
Yeah.
And he interviews lots of big Hollywood stars, and he always asks them these same questions at the end. Can I just run a few of them past you?
Go on.
Okay. So, if you could do any other profession other than the one you do now, what profession would you do?
Can you just change that to apart from a paper round?
Apart from a paper round.
Oh,
If you do any other profession, Carl.
And it doesn't matter about like.
Doesn't matter if you've got the skills or anything. In an ideal world, if you had the ability.
Well, I think I'm about to buy somewhere, so I reckon something, you know, using tools and like doing a bit of plumbing and that.
So a plumber.
Well, sort of an all-rounder.
Right. A handyman.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you know, you don't get paid that much, but it's useful, isn't it? So.
But you get your own show, couldn't you, with Carol Smiley eventually?
Well, all that, but the money that you don't make, you save by not having to pay someone else to do the chores. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what that sentence meant.
Right.
No.
A plumber, how much is the average plumber on?
The money you don't make, you save on not getting someone else to do it. No, just think of that. No, look, break that sentence down. Are there any...
Sorry, Rick, but people who live in glass houses...
Yeah.
Anyway, let's just go back to Lipton quickly. We've got a couple to get through here. So, your favourite noise or sound? Favourite sound or noise?
Ooh.
Is it me?
No.
It's not me.
Hang on a minute.
It's not me. Are you sure it's not me, Carl?
I like Elvis.
Noise. Elvis.
In the ghetto.
The sound of Elvis.
Elvis in the ghetto. Brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your least favourite noise or sound? I don't think it should really be records and music. Noises, things that you hear at home or whatever.
Maybe like a sound of a...
The least favourite noise?
Least favourite.
The sound of...
Probably like...
the sound of ghosts?
Fire engines and that.
Right.
That's annoying.
Except if your house was on fire, presumably.
I think it's a bit unnecessary.
You think they're just doing it to wind people up?
I live on like a busy street and it's happening all the time, and it is like... Just sort of have a blast of it and people will hear it. You don't have to keep it going.
Yeah,
Sure.
So that is,
okay.
Pretty annoying.
And, if heaven exists, Carl, when you get to the pearly gates, what would you like God to say to you as he welcomes you into heaven? What would you like God to say to you?
Who asks these? What show's this?
It's a programme where celebrities are interviewed by a guy, an American interviewer, and he always asks these questions at the very end.
What would I say to God?
What would you say to God if you believed in heaven, and if heaven exists, when you eventually go up to heaven and you're welcomed in through the gates
in
by
your
God,
parka and your stussy t-shirt and your...
what do you want God to say to you as he welcomes you in?
Say, you alright? Don't know, just be friendly.
Feeder. Come back around on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais. But who are you?
Oh, thanks for asking, Rick. Steve Merchant.
With us, Karl Pilkington. Well, Karl, now I know I shouldn't, but I met Karl in the week against Steve.
I told you shouldn't do this.
I know.
You should
but
wait
then when he starts saying things like, "Oh, is this lad with a pig?" I go, "No, save it," and we just sit there. And I'm scared to talk in case he comes. But you did tell me a couple of little things, didn't you? True stories that that I mean, I enjoy. Can you tell Steve about the doctor?
Right.
Oh God. Is this something that happened to a friend of yours, or is this?
No, I read about it.
You read about it, okay.
There's this little lad, right?
Okay.
First of all, it's years ago, right? When
Right,
they didn't have decent doctors in like every town and that.
Yeah.
And this little kid is dead ill, right?
Yeah.
And the local doctor.
Well, there's a phone call involved, so I don't really get the impression that it's like medieval
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't say that, I just said it's years ago.
Go on
so
then.
this kid's ill, right?
Yeah.
And he's lying in the bed, and he's all going funny colour and that.
Yeah.
And his mum says, I'm going to get the local doctor around. The local doctor comes round, and he says, "Oh," so I don't know what's up with him. He said, "Leave it with me."
Leave it with me.
He said,
the doctor said that.
I'll have he said I'll phone up a top doctor.
Okay.
Who was in America or something like that. Yeah. And so he goes to the phone in his office and he calls America, and because it's years ago the phone line isn't that good, it's all crackly and that, right?
Yeah.
So he's talking to the doctor and he's saying, I've got this kid, he's a funny colour, and he's really weak and that. I don't know what's
He's not giving him much to go on.
Right?
Sure.
So the American doctor, right?
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, what you want to do?" And it's all breaking up, right?
Yeah.
He goes, "What you got to do? You got to it's all breaking up. You've got to give him some parrot's blood, right?"
Some parrot's blood?
Well, that's what he thought he said, but the line was really bad.
Yeah.
He meant parent's blood, but he heard that he said parrot's blood. He said, "Right, I'll do that. Leave it with me."
I can see where this is going.
He goes to a pet shop.
Yeah.
He says, "Give us like half a dozen parrots."
Sure.
Takes them round to the kid's house. Takes the blood from the parrots, puts it into the kid. Kid's fine.
The kid's fine.
I've never
it worked.
heard such a load of shite in my life. I've never heard such twaddle, such just made up, enhanced, exaggerated. In my
a load
life.
of old rubbish, Carl.
I mean, when he told me this, he said, the doctor said, what do I do? And the doctor on the other end said, give him some blood. And the doctor went, where do I get blood from?
So hang on, wait, I just need to
Where do I get blood from? Give him some parents' blood. Give him some parents' blood. Give him some parents' blood. Yeah.
But hang on, I just need to know where you read this.
Carl.
Where was this? Where did
I
you read
stitched
this?
you up. You know when he said, so do you believe it? I went, tell it to Steve. He went, do you believe it? I went, tell it to Steve. Carl.
But where did you read it?
That was on the internet.
What?
About
Where is it on
illnesses.
the internet?
I'm always looking at stuff. I was looking at stuff this morning because of Yoragella last night. eating all that funny food and that, and also they all got a bit scared last night, didn't they, with a snake?
I didn't see that. So is this I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here?
Yeah, they got all worried about a snake getting on the sort of wandering about in between the sleeping bags and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were all scared, and it is so
Leave
easy.
it with me. Sorry, the doctor says, leave it with me. Yeah. Leave it with me.
Well, they were all scared because there's a snake, and it's so easy to find stuff out. Before they, where are they? Where is this jungle?
Australia, I
Right.
think.
Before they went, give it half an hour on the internet. I found out with snakes, you don't need to worry, right? They're deaf. They haven't got any ears.
Right.
So as long as you're really quiet,
Creep
it'll,
around,
it'll
yeah.
probably leave you alone.
Yep.
And also, they don't have eyelids.
Uh-huh.
So they were suggesting if one's coming towards you, just like kick sand in its eyes, because it can't blink, and it leaves it a bit like annoyed, and it wanders off. But they didn't do any research before they went.
Yeah.
And that's
I think your knowledge would hold you in good stead. I don't think you need to know any more than you know. Well, we're going to come back to that because he also explained to me where a saying comes from that I want you to be part of. But
and also we should mention as well, Carl, you've come up with a competition. Is this right?
brilliant competition.
Have you dreamt this up?
He thinks this can go to television.
Is this an idea you've come up with?
Yeah.
Carl, I'm so looking forward to
So
it.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Continuing our exposure of myths and legends of Rockford Tale, we expose that myth that some maybe older rockers have had it and they've got they were never any good. And the kids today,
I don't want to hear that.
people like Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart is a great artist.
Let's
He's a slightly laughable man, but a great artist.
let's go back to when he was rocking.
When he cut the mustard.
Yeah, 9. Yeah, this doctor. I mean, we should find out who he is really, and if he's still practicing, because it worries me a little bit that he did that. Also, I mean, he thinks he's got away with it, but how could he be sure those parrots wouldn't talk?
True.
Do you know what I mean? There were 6 of them. They probably got together and they probably put it on the internet.
I mean, I feel that story, Carl, it asks more questions than it answers.
Yeah,
Really.
like most of your stories.
Yeah, that's the
to be
problem. I
honest.
always feel like I need a little bit more information. Like, did the parrot boy continue to live?
Yeah.
To a ripe old age, or did he die weeks later after this charlatan doctor who was going around, spurious and
Did he break his nose trying to crack a big nut?
No, I think he was all right. He lived to a.
See, I'd have shouted, if I was that doctor, I'd have shouted that down the phone. Are you sure you said parrot's blood?
Yeah.
You sure it was parrot's blood?
Listen, I mean, I'm not the best doctor in the world, but did you say parrot's blood?
Yeah, but what you're forgetting is you're going back to the time where they used leeches to do
No, we're
translations.
not. We're going back to the late 70s if there's a phone call to America Direct.
Come on, Carl. They weren't calling America in the medieval times or in the Victorian age. Come on, think about it, Carl.
Yeah.
This has got to be like the 30s or 40s, the earliest.
Right.
I'm intrigued to know where this. I think there's someone on the web who's just putting information on there to lead you astray.
Yeah.
Because you're the only person who finds this stuff. Other people are using this to write theses.
What were you looking up that then? What were you looking?
I always look at weird stuff.
What were you looking for?
But what do you type in the search engine to find
What did you-
parrot
what-
blood stories?
What were you looking for?
There was this woman with a weird head.
Why were you looking for that? What were you
Just because I'd heard about it. I'd heard someone talking about it on another station.
Right.
About this woman with a funny head.
Right? I love the fact you're intrigued with these things. You go in the basement of Waterstones or Dillon's or somewhere, and there's these medical books that you're loving, mate.
Well, this is free on the internet, isn't it? It's all there.
Yeah.
So what you typed in? Weird head woman or
I think it's
lady with head.
yeah.
weird people or something I put in.
Sure.
Yeah.
That
Did you come up?
7,000 hits. Karl Pilkington.
But it's all there, isn't it? It's interesting. The one that I was telling you before about, what's the name? The lost letter.
The lost letter. What's
The lost postcard that's just turned up. Some woman sent a postcard years and years ago to a niece or something, right?
Yeah.
And her niece was like 3 years old back then. And just now, I think yesterday or the day before, the postcard turned up 74 years late.
74 years later.
It took 74
and that
years.
3-year-old girl's been living in the same house that whole time.
Well, yeah.
Sure.
There's no weird
You see
about
what I
that.
mean? There's always a question you can ask to just scratch the credibility of these stories.
Yeah.
There's always, it's like the apocryphal tale.
Was this the slugs? Was this those slugs from last week?
Yeah, well,
that
they're
were
holding
stealing-
back because they're slow. Because the postman's slug is useless. Its round takes him 74 years. Then he's got to go back to the beginning. He's got 74 years, and they can't carry the bag. That's where they go. That's why they turn to glue. That's why they turn to glue.
Oh, it's pitiful.
It is pitiful.
So you don't believe that someone sent a postcard years ago and somehow it's been stuck in the bottom of a post bag or something and it's only just...
Stuck in the bottom of a post bag?
Yeah.
That means that there's like a 95-year-old postman who's still
Yeah.
wandering around.
Did you have to pay like the difference on the charges? Because presumably it
wouldn't have had Queen Elizabeth's.
it was a
picture on,
penny
would it?
black. Presumably, was it?
Yeah. What would be on the stamp? It would have been invalid, surely.
Don't know.
See, these are the questions you should ask yourself.
Because if it's the postman's fault, the post office can't turn
who was
around.
only 3 at the time himself, wasn't he? He was the...
No, he is dead. Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
be well and truly dead now.
Yeah.
But the fact is that the post office made an error, right? They lost this letter.
Sure.
It's only just turned up. They can't turn around and say, sorry about this, I hope it isn't urgent. It's turned up 74 years late, and by the way, you owe us 25 pence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do that, would
No,
they?
that's true. That's true.
So
that's
there
true.
you go.
You're asking questions, though. You see, that's true. You see, so you're interested in like where sayings come from as well, aren't you? Because you told me one in the week. What that? I don't know if Steve's aware of that. Do you want to tell Steve this one?
What's this a saying?
Can we do this quiz?
We'll do the
first.
quiz later. I know you're excited about the quiz. Let's do that later. But what's this saying?
Right. What is the saying? Chucking a baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Have you heard that phrase?
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. How would you use that?
Well, how would I use that? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I suppose if you've been discussing something, you've come up with some plans, but you're slightly worried, and you might abandon the whole plan, whereas there might be some ideas in there which are still worth retaining.
Exactly.
So you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
There might be something you can just change, and you don't. Yeah.
A similar, there might be a few ideas you can salvage from an otherwise worthless one.
Well, the saying, right, comes from like years ago again. And
pre or post phone?
And ages and ages ago, when like the bloke worked in the house, he was like the coal man, and then you had like
No way, it's important.
then like the mum is like she stays at home making the dinner, looking after the kids.
Yep.
And you've got like the little kid who's just growing up, just messing about and stuff. So what happens is, back then they didn't have like fresh flowing warm water every day. So all they could only afford to have like one full big bath of fresh water. So they'd fill up the bath, right? And then the dad would come home and he'd say, I've had I had a tough day at work and that, down the pit. And his wife would say, it's alright, I'm putting the dinner on, you're going to have a nice warm bath.
So because he gets to bath first,
Because he gets the bath first, because he's the grafter.
and he's
right?
covered in coal.
He's covered in coal, so the water's like minging by the time he's finished.
Yeah.
Right? And then the wife says, after all my cleaning the house and doing the cooking, I'm a bit sweaty now.
She's covered in dust and
Yeah.
grime. She has the next one.
I'll have a bath, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the line, there's a little baby.
Yeah.
It's been playing out all day. Also got like little grubby knees and stuff, needs to have a bath.
Yeah.
He goes in the bath, right? But because the water's so dirty,
Sure.
they go and empty the water out of the window. Can't see the baby in it. Chucking the baby out with the bathwater. That's where it comes from.
I don't know what to say, Steve. Because I heard this, I'm just. What do you think, Steve?
So firstly, that sort of, I mean, that doesn't explain
Where do you
why-
start?
well,
You're struggling, aren't you? You're struggling where to start.
Firstly, I can't see how we've now applied this to,
I've been
the
thinking of
example
this.
that I
I've
thought
been
of
thinking of
earlier.
this for days, Steve. Waiting for you to hear this one.
These coal mining parents, deeply negligent.
Yeah, I love
They've
the fact
left their
that-
baby in the bath, unattended.
That's the way round to do it. The one covered in coal.
Yeah, has
You
the
go
bath
first.
Sure.
You go first. Don't wash the baby and then get in that.
Yeah.
You one covered in coal goes first.
Yeah.
That's the best idea.
Yeah.
Second most dirty one goes second, and then the clean little baby.
Yeah.
I think we should do him last because he's done nothing towards this family.
But more than that, Rick, leave him to his own devices.
Yeah.
Jack, I'm just going to throw the water out.
Yeah.
In the bath.
Don't check first.
Have you checked that the baby's not in there?
Don't
No,
check,
I'm not
don't
even going to waste
bother.
my time
You'd
checking.
see it, you'd see
I'd
it.
be able to see
You'd
a baby.
see a baby in
if
there.
a baby was in here,
Yeah.
I'd be able to see it. I'm just
Yeah.
going to throw it out.
Yeah, I'm not even going to look, to be honest, Jack.
Not
We've all
even
had our
gonna
bath.
look, yeah.
If the baby's in there,
Yeah.
then it should be
Be
making
careful,
sound
Jack. We have lost 3 children this way. Don't.
4.9 coming up in the next hour. Karl Pilkington's new game show. He's very excited about
I'm
this.
excited.
I'm excited.
We don't
I
know
can't
anything
wait.
about it, but it's gonna be
he's
dynamite.
told me it's going to be a winner. He said it's going to go to television.
Sure.
I need some adverts though.
Oh, I'd love to hear some adverts.
Can we have just 2 or 3 minutes of adverts, please? Vines there, Steve. On XFM 104.9, I'm Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant, and Karl Pilkington. Karl's getting very excited, as we all are, about his new. Should we let him do a little taster for us?
Well, I'm very excited about it. I mean,
So the gist of it, what is it? What is it exactly? Is
Right.
it a game show or is it a competition?
It's just so it's something that, you can play and also people at home can take part in it.
now, would they phone in about this, or they can just play at home while they're listening?
They can just play at home.
Okay.
You mean we haven't got any prizes?
No, there isn't.
No, I think we could get him to phone in, maybe.
Well, I don't know. Let's hear the game idea
Yeah.
first.
Right, it's music related.
Okay.
Good.
And what I do is I sort of tell a little story,
Okay.
and that story makes up a song title.
All right. Well, it sounds ambitious.
So
Is it a cryptic clue?
could be. Say like this, right?
Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me.
Say like this.
Right.
This woman, right? She's pregnant. You know the answer to this one, so don't be saying anything. This
Okay.
is just aimed at Steve.
Okay.
Right. This woman has a baby.
Yeah.
She's pregnant, has a baby, and the doctor's there in the hospital, going, "Oh yeah, you've got a lovely little baby
Oh,
here.
you told me that this is. Oh, this game
Got a lovely
show.
little baby. It's just coming out now. You'll be able to see it in a minute, and it's like covered in gunk and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's going, "Yeah, it's nearly here. It's coming out. I see its little head and that." And he gets hold of it, and it's full of all this gunk, right?
The baby's full of gunk.
Yeah, like the
Covered in gunk or full of gunk?
covered in it.
Right.
And he goes, "Here you go. Get hold of your baby," and he drops it.
Right.
What song's that?
There's so much irrelevance there, Steve. I can't tell you. It's not a cryptic clue. It's not a cryptic clue because only. I mean, the gist of it is relevant.
That isn't the best one. That's just
Right, I mean, there is just, there's things there that you were dwelling on and thinking of puns. Don't. Just go for gut instinct. What was it? What was that?
Right,
How
I just need to try and get the basics of this. There's a woman, she's pregnant, she has a baby.
Yeah.
The baby's covered in gunk.
Yeah.
Right,
And because of the gunk, the doctor drops the baby.
yeah.
And that's all I need to know.
Yeah, that is all you need to know, yeah. The pregnancy's largely irrelevant.
Okay, what are the key elements?
It's the birth and the doctor dropping it that are the irrelevant, the
The
relevant
birth
thing.
and the dropping of the baby. I've absolutely no idea. I can't even begin to guess.
Think about what's happened here.
Oh, Carl,
She's had a
isn't-
baby, the doctor's trying to deliver it, he's saying it's a nice little baby you've got here.
This is all irrelevant. This is all irrelevant. Right, let me tell you this. So just to be fair to Steve, so he can get into your mind. Right, this is not a traditional cryptic clue, logical problem. This is Carl. What song am I thinking of? Right, that is Underworld, Born Slippy.
I have to say, actually, that makes textbook sense.
Yeah.
No, that does
yeah.
actually. No,
Do you
I'm
like
sorry.
Do you like all the story about the alright, you can see it in a minute. Oh, it's just covered in gunk. Yeah.
No, I agree there is some extraneous detail.
Yeah,
but I have
okay.
to say
Yeah.
that.
Born was good because it was. That's the look of it. Was
Yeah.
Born was good. Yeah.
And Born Slippy, No, I was quite impressed by that, Carl, I have to say. No, to be fair to you, I'm not just patronising you.
Oh, well, wow.
I actually think that was really good, and I disrespect Ricky Gervais for slagging that off, because I actually think that was quite good.
Well, let's go ahead with it then.
I feel we could maybe open this up to email correspondence or
okay,
or the
let's
phone
go
lines.
for it then. Okay, this is Karl Pilkington's new game show idea. It's
Just what's the song?
Karl Pilkington presents What's the Song? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Mr. Karl Pilkington.
Okay,
What's the song?
then?
I'll tell you what, let's play a record. Let's come back after
Give out
that.
the number ready for him.
Well, you should make a note of this. You can email us. The email's up and running. ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. What's the phone number, Karl? Have you got
It's 08700 800 1234.
Okay.
08700
800
1234.
Make a note of that, and we'll have a game of what song is Karl thinking of after this next track.
What do you want to play?
What have you got lined up there?
Continuing again, I've got old fogies who were good once, and I won't hear a thing said against the new kids out there. It's not all new metal, is it?
True enough.
This is Cat Stevens, a little known album, Mona Bone Jack on, and this one's called Trouble. It's a lovely song.
Christchurch, Dorset. That's a complete and utter lie. Christchurch, Dorset. Because I used to have a friend that's from Christchurch. That's a complete and utter lie. Dorset. Christchurch, Dorset. Christchurch, Christchurch, Dorset. Christchurch, Christchurch, Dorset. Christchurch, Dorset. Like where were you born and raised? He was like Christchurch, Dorset. Christchurch. Christchurch, 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 Dorset, Christchurch.